Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Commander's Forge. My name is Andy Bentley, and the Forge is an area for me to talk about Magic, Commander, and anything else while I try and drag this whole mental health thing back to where it's supposed to be. Now, am I sitting here at my desk at 3:30 in the morning because I can't sleep? Absolutely. But there's something that I've been thinking about recently, like very recently. I am a brewer. I like building, testing, pulling apart, rebuilding decks a lot. But man, has the decision paralysis recently been freaking miserable. There's so many things I want to do that it just gets to the point where, like, I don't know what to focus on. So, recently, I've been mostly just trying to, like, solidify on one idea, build that out, test it. I'm also failing at that as I sit here looking at like 6 piles of cards on my desk that are for 5 different decks. So it's just, I've been thinking about the dragons from Secrets of Strixhaven, in particular, Lorehold, Silverquill, and Witherbloom. Surprise, surprise, the two with blue are not my favorites. But I've also been sitting on a mono blue Donatello artifact deck. I'm currently actually sitting on a repartee deck that's going to be led by the original Killen, or however the hell you say his name. That one I'm actually kind of excited about. But like, I still have the Ninja Turtles pre-con to build out. I mean, hell, I'm still sitting on all of the Doctor Who decks that I wanted to do something with, and I just haven't had the time or energy to do it. So yeah, decision paralysis. That said, I am moving forward with some decks, and others are just the scrap of an idea, like with the new Archons. There's a thing there, but I don't know. Not Archons, Avatars. The new Avatars. There's something there with, like, you run either the Child of Alara or maybe Progenitus, and then you just slap all of the, like, big expensive avatars into one deck. But I don't know. That is many moons away, if that ever, coalesces. No, but on top of that, I've also been going through older decks, seeing what's still viable, seeing if there's any new upgrades I want. So it's just, there's a lot. And there comes a point when you kind of have to make the executive decision of, I'm not going to stress about this one thing. And so I'm not. I'm not, looking to spend $2,000 building decks or upgrading decks. I'm going to use mostly what I have on hand. I'll fill in a couple of gaps. And for the most part, spend maybe $40 to get a few things I'm missing for a deck. And yeah, that's kind of where I am. Like, I'm sitting on like 5 different deck ideas just from Secrets of Strixhaven. I've got the three dragons I talked about. I talked about the repartee deck, but then there's also the pest deck that I've got a surprising number of pieces for already. So yeah, it's just there's a lot of things that I could do, but then there's the do I really have the time, energy, or means of, building it, testing it, and then doing other things. But yeah, that's kind of where I am at the moment. Sitting somewhere between a rock and a hard place and finishing any number of decks. I will say the one I'm closest to is that repartee deck. I think I'm quite literally missing like 11 cards, and some of them I just have to go digging through a box to find. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna stop this section, and then when I come back, I'll talk about that repartee deck that I'm putting together. And yeah, be good times. I'll be right back. And welcome back. Now, this repartee deck was mostly me just kind of looking at cards I had sitting around, and I was like, Killian Ink Duelist just kind of works with this deck. So he is a white and a black for a 2/2 human warlock with lifelink, menace, and spells you cast that target a creature cost 2 less to cast. And so my first thought with this was there's that new precon for Silver Quill that does like the aura stuff, and this kind of fits in there too, but this is more battlefield control using like single target spells, you know what I mean? But the real push was just the caliber of some of the creatures that have repartee first and foremost. So things like Lecturing Scorn Mage, which is a single black for a 1/1 human warlock. And its repartee is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, you put a counter on this creature. We have Snooping Page, which is a white and a black for a 2/3 human cleric. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, this creature can't be blocked this turn, and then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and lose a life. Melancholic Poet is 1 and a black for a 2/2 elf bard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. The Inkling Mascot is a white and a black for a 2/2 Inkling Cat. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, this creature gains flying till end of turn and Surveil 1. The Conciliator's Duelist, which is white, white, black, black for a 4/3 core warlock. When it enters, you draw a card, and each player loses 1 card, or loses 1 life. And then whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell that targets a creature, exile up to 1 target creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control to begin the next end step. And then finally, from the Strixhaven set, we have Nita Forum Conciliator, 1 white black for a 2/3 human advisor. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. And then you can pay 2, sacrifice another creature, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast it this turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. If the spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead, activate only as a sorcery. Right. So, and there are a few I don't have yet. There's like the Owl with repartee that gets a counter, and there's Another one who's escaping me. But then I was going through stuff and I was like, huh, this would be a good place for like Toshiro Umezawa, which is 1 black black for a 2/2 human samurai with Bushido 1. But whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from play, you may play target instant card from your graveyard. If that card would be put into a graveyard this turn, remove it from the game instead. So this is a way we can like double up on removal spells. So if Toshiro's out and we cast something that destroys a creature, we can rip something else that destroys a creature out of our graveyard. Next up, we have Brina the Demagogue. 1, a white and a black for a 1/3 bird warlock with flying. And whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, if that opponent has more life than another of your opponents, the attacking player draws a card, and I put 2 counters on a creature I control. Yeah, Brina is like a fairly political-based commander. I'm running it because, well, I want the counters and I want to draw the card. After that, we have Felisa, Fang of Silverquill. 2, a white and a black for a 3/2 vampire wizard with flying and mentor. And then whenever a non-token creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, you create X tapped 2/1 white and black inkling creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of counters it had on it. Alright, next up we have Sir Vondam the Lucent. 2, a white, black, black for a 4/4 human knight with Death Touch and Lifelink. Whenever he enters or attacks, other creatures I control get +1/+0 and Death Touch till end of turn. And finally, for the creatures I want to talk about, we have Mavinda, the Student's Advocate. 2 and a white for a 2/3 Bird Advisor with flying. And 0, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more to cast this way. If the spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Activate only once each turn. So, well, yes, we can, like, overpay for our removal spells again. We're also running a suite of protection spells, and that's mostly what that is there to get back, along with a few other things that target our stuff. But it's mostly for, you know, the Adamant Will, the Beaming Defiance, the Your Temple is under attack, Take up the Shield, all of those kind of things, which is just ways to protect our creatures from spot removal. But mostly, the deck kind of went make all of my spot removal cost a lot less. So, first up we have, like, Foolish Fate from the new set. It's 2 and a black for an instant, destroy target creature. It has an infusion if you gained life this turn, that creature's controller loses 3 life. But again, because of Killian, this only costs a black if he's out. Same with the next one, Vanquish the Weak. 2 and a black for an instant, destroy target creature with power 3 or less. Cast Down, 1 and a black. Instant, destroy target non-legendary creature. Overkill, 2 and a black. Instant, target creature gets -0, -9,999 until end of turn. Hero's Downfall, 1 black, black. Instant, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Mortify, 1 white, black. Instant, destroy target creature or enchantment. Generous Gift, 2 and a white, destroy target permanent. Its controller makes a 3/3 green elephant creature token. Bovine Intervention, 1 and a white for an instant, destroy target artifact or creature. Its controller makes a 2/2 ox creature token. Infernal Grasp, 1 and a black for an instant, destroy target creature. You lose 2 life. Anguished Unmaking, 1 white, black for an instant, exile target non-land permanent. You lose 3 life. Utter End, 2, a white and a black. Instant, exile target non-land permanent. And then, you know, you have your normal things that are the single mana stuff like Swords of Plowshares, single white, instant, exile target creature's controller gains life equal to its power, and Path to Exile, single white, instant, exile target creature's controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. And yeah, that's what I have so far. Again, like I said, I am missing some cards, and like I'm not going over any of the like mana rocks or any of the like other random targeting spells I have. And chances are this deck won't be functional probably for a few more weeks. Just based on what I have laying around at the moment. I know I'm several lands short of what I need. Just casually glancing at the pile I have currently. Let's see, I have an Isolated Chample, a Godless Shrine, a Vault of the Archangel, Tainted Field, Minas Tirith, Marsh Flat, Shadowy Backstreet, Fetid Heath, Caves of Koilos. What do I not have? Oh, I do. I have a Command Tower, a Silent Clearing, a Rogue's Passage, Evolving Wilds, Vibrant Cityscape, Terramorphic Expanse, and a Forum of Amity, which is essentially the same as a Silver Quilt Campus, so maybe I'll throw one of those in as well. So maybe I'm actually closer to this than I thought, and it's really just I need to spend like $40 and finish getting the cards for this. But that said, I think that's where I'm going to call it, mostly because it's going on 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would actually like to get some sleep, but I needed to get this out of my head. So with that, I will say goodbye, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. All of my links can be found in my link tree in the description below. I would like to thank Ian Foss and Cody Mulvey of the band The Crypt for allowing me to use music for my opening and ending, along with Nate and Erica Jacobs for making my original logo. And I would also like to thank Christina McNichol for creating my new logo. And I'll see you next time.